Pretty nice to get back in camp, obviously.
Yeah, it's we came through the weekend pretty unscathed, so it was a nervous couple of days, obviously, and then obviously watching players get through the games, and then judiciary and all those sorts of things. So a lot of them fell our way. Tyson Frizzell, seeing him come off, most surely was someone that we would most surely get involved in the team, but apart from that, all okay.
Did you speak to him last night after the game?
Yeah, and I think it was pretty clear that he had syndesmosis, and I think I didn't see the report charge, but there's a lot going on. So, but no, he'll be considered for game 2.
What was one of the most special call-ups that you had to make yesterday?
Brian Tyre was in church at the time, and I said, "Mate, what are you doing with your phone in church?" So he must have been anticipating a phone call. I'm not sure, but they're always, the most enjoyable part of being a coach is making those phone calls. Liam Martin last night, I'm not sure if he thought it was really me or not. So that was an interesting phone call as well. But one of the real joys of the job.
So if Brian Toto takes his phone to church, how's he going to deal with your no phone rule?
That's right. I've already spoke to him, and there's a few of those Penrith lads, but we'll deal with that each day as it comes on.
How possible is it to bring that sort of Penrith style of footy into an Origin team? Freddie, obviously you pick 5 and include the 2 halves. So that's probably what you want to see a bit of, I guess.
Yeah, well, you can't ignore what they're doing. So, a lot of State of Origin's about experience in State of Origin. So, obviously, just even seeing this today for them, it'd be very different what they see week in, week out. But they've got to deal with that. But it's just impossible to ignore, how they're playing at the moment. So, they're very in sync, them two, the halves especially. I think Brian Tyre, just what he's doing now to trouble. The game is coming out of your end a lot, so he seems to be doing that better than anyone.
In terms of their structure, do you play a sort of similar style structure than what Penrith are doing in that sense as well? And so their willingness to throw the ball around a bit?
We'll discuss that later today. So, still working out. We've got a Queensland team comes out very soon, I believe. So we'll wait till we see their team before we start worrying about that.
Where's game 1 heading?
We're not sure. I'm not sure. I've had a few texts today and they've all been different grounds. So I think we'll just get prepared to play a game of footy and let the powers to be decide that.
If it was game 1 and 2 in Queensland, what would that be?
It is what it is. I'm not part of that decision making, so we've just got to prep to, if that is, then it's something that hasn't been done for a while. I know early in the Origin concept that they used to play all the games in Queensland, it was only sort of about 1986 where they played a game in New South Wales. So they've had to do it before, so we can do it.
Does it make it just a little bit tougher? How much tougher?
Well, it'll make it a little bit sweeter as well. So
I imagine you'd want the guys to embrace the challenge if that occurs.
Absolutely. But it's still pretty open, I think. I think it's still, Melbourne's still considered, and I think Bankwest has also been tossed up as well. So at the moment, we're just sort of, everyone's getting to know each other, and all this stuff that comes with State of Origin. We'll just deal with this and worry about that later.
What are your thoughts on Melbourne though? Like they're having yesterday 5 new COVID cases. Is it a bit dangerous to send 2 teams down?
That's for smarter people to decide. I'm just a footy coach.
It's typical Queensland though to try and get the advantage.
Couldn't imagine that. Couldn't imagine that. But
should it rub to Townsville? What do you think about it as a venue for Origin?
Well, like I said, there's other people making those decisions. I suppose if they're doing it for financial reasons, I'm gathering that is the best financial reason. State of Origin's become, such a. It's become so strong for the game financially, and so many people watch it that you just hope they get the benefit out of it. The players just love playing in this contest. It's always just brought out the best in all the players, and so wherever they play it, I just hope the game's getting the most out of it. At this, it's a rare time we're in at the moment, and the fact what's happening in Melbourne at the moment has disturbed things, but it's got nothing to do with the way we prepare for a game of footy. Yeah, I think, that's why we wait right until the last week. And I thought Damien Cook was fantastic the other night. In a big game against Parramatta, they got beat by 50 last week, and he really stood up. But Appy's been playing a really good style of footy for a long time, and I think he made 60-odd tackles. So if he gets his chance, I'm going to feel pretty safe in the middle of the field.
Freddie, just talk to us about that call to have Jerome in the number 6 and Jack off the bench. How close was that?
Oh, yeah, it was close. So, but like I said, it was hard to ignore what Penrith are doing at the moment. And then I think Jack maybe it might be easy for him just to go out and play footy, not to worry about so much what's the tactics and just allow him to. I always thought he's best at when he's just running the ball hard and playing aggressive. So hopefully we get the chance to do that.
How's Teddy? Yesterday he said he was in a bit of pain. Is it just a pain management thing for him, or is he in any doubt?
He's in no doubt. So I think everyone will pretty much train as of Thursday, definitely, but the majority will train tomorrow.
Freddie, a lot of people wanted to know where Turbo will play. Why centre as opposed to wing? What's his strength there?
He's played there before, and just the way the team fits, I think, at the moment. He's just such, for a coach, it's such a luxury to have a player that's, you can play wing, centre, fullback, and do a great job in all of them. So he's in really good form. Even yesterday when things weren't going that well for him, he's saved a couple of tries, and he was the danger at the end of the game. He kept looking for the ball. So, we need to put him in a position so he feels that he can do that in our team as well.
Obviously with Latrell, Tommy in the centres, Adokar on the wing, Toho, you've got a lot of strike power out there.
Yeah, but we've got to stop a lot of tries as well. In the last game last year, they actually bombed a couple of tries, Queensland, and we could have been chasing 20 instead of only being 6 behind at the end of the game. So, I don't think scoring points is going to be the problem. We've got to make sure that we've also got the team to stop them, and we work well together, and that's what the start of the week's all about.
Freddie, what's it mean to see Latrell back in camp, smiling, back in Blues colours again? Must give you a big thrill to see that.
Yeah, it's good. He's one of the best players in the game without a doubt, and when he's focused and ready to go, there's no more dangerous player. So, you saw what he did as a 19 and 20-year-old in 2018, and we just, I think himself and everyone wants to see that again.
Do you think this crackdown on head and neck contact will impact Origin in any way?
No, I don't think so. I think everyone's getting the message. I think a lot of, the careless players are sort of getting caught out a little bit. So everyone's starting to sharpen up and getting used to how the referees are adjudicating on high tackles. It's always been a penalty. It's just I think the players understand now that if overzealous, then it could cost your team 10 minutes. So I don't think it'll be a problem.
Is that something that you'll drill into them throughout the week?
I think it comes down to just them concentrating. So we have a 10-day preparation. So you think, given the time, and if we have our preparation right, then by game time they should be focused, and that means disciplined as well as hungry and fast and all those other things. So it's very important to make sure you're not too emotional and that you go out focused.
There's a lot of questions about consistency again. Des praised them yesterday. I mean, do you think we've found consistency yet, or is it just a case of don't hit someone in the head and don't have to rest?
Oh, absolutely. They just showed poor discipline, I thought, yesterday as well. So, that's part of the thing. You got to have some discipline about your game these days, and those light brushes in the head they're not accepted anymore. So, I'm sure there's going to be some of that in the game, and you just hope the referee handles it. I've seen some games handle better than others, and that comes up to Jared Maxwell and whoever appoints the referee. So it's mostly a pretty tricky position to be in, but I wish them all the best. It's a tough gig they've got at the moment.
Brad, have you been speaking to the players at all about the extent of the dissatisfaction with the Commission and the Commission's rule changes?
No.
Do you think you will?
No.
Is that going to be a factor during this Origin campaign?
No.
Last year you lost the unlosable series, so to speak. How much does that burn for now?
I think anytime you lose, it burns. So the fact is it's a short turnaround, considering you normally wait 12 months. It's only 6 months. So hopefully we're now at the start of that, and we can turn that around within the next 6 weeks.
Do you sort of take inspiration from what Queensland did last year, giving you guys so many injuries, sort of got your backs against the wall in a way because you lost last year?
I take inspiration from how the players are playing at the moment. That was November last year, so we've moved on from there. But, I take my hat off to them. They did a great job. But my inspiration at the moment is watching these blokes week in, week out, and they've got a job they've done. So.
What about the disruptions and the scrambling you had to do last year with HIA, losing guys in games, HIAs flying in and out of Adelaide? What have you learned that you'll be able to use in this series?
Well, you just got to be prepared to do whatever it takes. You just got to, trying to think of the word everyone was using last year, but you got to be able to adapt. What is it?
Agile.
The new norm. There was a few of those cliche words, but it's all of them. You just got to be agile, and that's what we try to teach our players: is that deal with whatever challenge in front of them, and that goes for staff more so now because we need to. It's not easy sort of changing 30 flights to Melbourne, to Townsville, to hotels, so everyone's going to have to work hard.